Bonjour, everyone. It is Sue with Retiring to France on a Shoestring once again. Thank you for joining me on this kind of gloomy and foggy Saturday afternoon in Central Texas. It's been a busy couple of days in a very good way, but I have to say that since I'm on that topic, I've mentioned it before, and for anybody who is retired, you already know this, but for those of you who are not retired, I don't really think you're going to have to worry too much about finding things to do when you're retired. It seems that some people do, but I am surprised every single day at the amount of time it can take just to get certain types of errands done that you don't often build in the extra time for appointments that go over or that don't go the way that you're supposed to. So I had a little bit of that this week that I'll share with you as well. But before I get started, because I never remember to do this, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like button or the subscribe button if you're so inclined. It really does help me get a little bit more visibility. And as I get closer to making serious decisions, especially financially, about making the relatively low budget move over to Europe, I would love it to be able to share this information with a wider audience. I'm not looking to get a big channel. I don't think that my topic is that interesting to say 350,000 people, but maybe a couple thousand. You never know, right? This week, I had a very fun time on, I think it was Thursday morning, very early for me, a one-on-one consult with Fabien Pelissier of Fab French Insurance. And I will put the link in the description. He works a lot with Adrian Leeds groups and possibly some other groups for helping people to relocate to France. And his company specializes in insurance and all things automotive, all things, I think, from especially on the practical side of the move. And then, of course, he works with people who are into the housing end of it, but I don't think that that's necessarily his specialty. But I didn't really know what to expect. It was a free half-hour consult, and I'm very mindful of the fact that anybody giving away a free half an hour knows that there is a gamble that the person that they're talking to on the other end of the line may not ever use them for any services. So it's a nice gesture. And having owned my own businesses before and giving away free services, I'm always very grateful when somebody does that. And I didn't really know what, as I said, I didn't really know what to expect, but it was fantastic. We ended up having a half-hour conversation about all sorts of things, not just visa related, which was going to be one of my main questions for him, but location. He is not based in Paris. He is based in Southwest France, which is the area that I am most interested in. So it was kind of fun talking about some of the places that he and his family enjoy going. And he also shared a very delicious sounding French dish that I will have to look up and see if we can find it in a restaurant when we are there. In advance of the fact that I'm going to be there in 24 days, I downloaded an app that I used last year when I was counting down to retirement, and got rid of it because I didn't need it after that. But now I have it. I have two countdown calendars on that app. I have the countdown to the France scouting trip, and then the countdown to actually moving over to France, which is, as of today, kind of scary, 145 days. Hard to wrap my brain around that in many ways. But one of the reasons I downloaded the app to have that reminder is that I need to really get my ass in gear and be more proactive in ditching stuff and selling stuff. So that is my task for especially the next couple of weeks. I will be doing as much as I can to get rid of some big stuff or make plans about some big stuff before I head to France. I come back, I have a week before I have my shoulder surgery, so I won't be able to do heavy lifting or anything for a minimum of 6 weeks, but probably longer than that. So this is probably the kind of push I need to make sure that I get things done in a timely manner. It's not like I'm just moving a couple of blocks away, right? Or even a couple of states away. I'm moving across the world. So I need to have all those ducks in a row. Speaking of the Ducks, the Oregon Ducks, kind of depressing this week that they lost to Ohio State, of all people. But If you're an Ohio State fan, congratulations. If you're an Oregon fan, my condolences to all of us. So that was one thing that was fun. Another was that I had ordered several weeks ago a specialty organizer for all of my paperwork and things that I need to sort out for the move to France, but also to take with me to my visa appointment. And it's a zippered organizer, and it's got a travel motif on the outside. So I will pop a picture of that in the video when I edit this. I think I got it off Etsy, so it was custom, and it wasn't in any hurry to get it by Christmas, so I didn't need it before now. But it came this week, and it's perfect timing because it gets me, again, all excited for the move. So that's been kind of nice. And then yesterday, I did another big step in the right direction. I have been watching the euro to dollar conversion rate diligently on a daily basis. I signed up every day with Wise, a financial institution, to get a update on the conversion rate. And right now it's the lowest that it has been since November 2022. And by lowest, I mean the most favorable for the dollar. So I opened an account with Wise, taking out $5,200 from the sale of my teardrop camper back at the beginning of November that has just been parked in a credit union since then, and did a wire transfer to this new Wise account so that on Monday or Tuesday coming, or anytime coming, the money will be there to convert to euros as soon as possible when the rate gets to as most favorable as it will be, so that I won't have to take too much of a hit on the conversion rate. So that was a big step. And that was a total pain, to be honest with you. I hold most of my liquid funds in a Capital One account, which I have had since 2001. Many accounts with them, but this was in a savings account specifically for the teardrop funds. So I went to the credit union to take out the money, and then I was going to go to the nearest Capital One, they call them Capital One cafes, where you can go and deposit big sums of money as opposed to just little sums of money, like a couple $100s or something like that in an ATM. But they actually deposit everything through an ATM, which kind of flipped me out. So I went to my credit union. I originally thought about getting a cashier's check or a teller check, but I decided, since I was going to be going directly from that financial institution to the Capital One cafe, that I just wanted it in cash. And the teller was really resistant until I realized why. Here I am, an older woman with white hair, asking for $5,200 in cash. So her mind was immediately going to the place where she thought that I was going to be a victim of an internet scam. And as soon as I realized that, I was able to say, oh, wait, no worries there. This has nothing to do with that. This is why I'm taking it out as cash. This is immediately where I'm going to it. There is no guy from Pakistan or India, on my phone in the car that is telling me to withdraw a bunch of cash and buy gift cards, or one of their other bogus ruses that they get to, swindle people of all ages, but especially older people, out of their money. And then she was relaxed. It was very interesting. And I didn't even think about that when I went in there because, big surprise for anybody who's young, I don't think of myself as being a senior citizen, although I am. So you do forget that you are old, and that other people see you as old, and that other people who don't know you see you as being possibly a victim of this kind of internet scam. So once that was all sorted away, I got my envelope of a monstrous amount of money, which nobody wants to hold on to that much cash. And then I drove down to the Capital One Cafe. And I had spoken to them on the phone before I had taken out the cash at my credit union. And she explained the whole process to me. She said, oh, you can just basically take it to a Walgreens or a CVS, any place that has an all-point ATM, and they have an option where you can just deposit bills. She said, but what I recommend is that you do maybe 5 or 6 at a time. You can do up to 150 bills at a time, but she suggested only doing 5 or 6 at a time, maximum 10, just to make sure that the machine was counting cash correctly as a deposit. And I thought that was a smart idea, because the last thing you want to do is put in a large sum of money and then have 1 or 2 of those $100 bills stick together and then have it tell you that you are $200 short of what you think think you're depositing, and there's nothing you can do about it because it's an electronic system, correct? So I get down to the Capital One Cafe literally 25 minutes after I spoke to the woman on the phone. And in that time, they had had some sort of incident in the building where the lobby was closed. You could see through the windows. They had 3 or 4 Austin police officers in there, along with the bank personnel. And they had 2 ATMs outside, and then they had, I think, 3 or 4 ATMs inside. And again, it's an internet cafe, or it's a financial cafe. So they have these people standing around that probably help individuals deposit money or start accounts or whatever it might be, right? They have a couple of, bank personnel. And then they do have a true cafe with all sorts of goodies. But we couldn't get any of them because it was closed because of whatever had happened. So there's a line of probably, no joke, 15 people in front of me to get to the ATM machines. And then as soon as I got there, the line just kept growing because it was 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon and everybody's trying to either take out money or deposit money in advance of the weekend. And although they were in this protected glass lobby area, one of those machines was busted. So they have one ATM machine that's working for, at this point, probably 21, 22 people. And I'm thinking, oh my God, these people behind me are going to hate me because here I am with $5,200 in $100 bills that I am going to be putting in 10 at a time maximum. But as luck would have it, literally right before I was the next person up for that one solo ATM, the bank manager came over, opened the door. It was all glass, so we could see them coming over, and explained that they were going to be letting people in, I think it was 2 by 2, to use the ATM machines, but all other services were suspended for the rest of the day. So I was literally able to go inside and do that without the fear and the agony of making people wait for a very, very long time to get to the cash machine. And it went really well. So all the money was deposited. By the time I went home, I had already opened the Wise account, and then I just transferred all that money into it. So I feel that that was a very productive day. But this ties back to what I was talking about when you are working and you have to do something like this. There were so many hiccups with this process in terms of other ATMs not doing what they were supposed to do, and then the Capital One Cafe being essentially shut down for a small period of time. It could have been, longer. I was just lucky that it wasn't. And that's the kind of thing that if you're working would completely throw your day 100% off kilter if you had to go back to work. It would be almost impossible. And you'd be stressed out about having to explain to your coworkers or your boss what was going on, why you slipped out for a coffee break, and then all of a sudden the coffee break turned into 3 hours. Which is about how long it ended up taking me. And the beauty of being retired is I didn't have anything else to do except go to the gym. So I didn't go to the gym because it is the first week of January. And we all know that any gym the first week of January is filled with all the people who just joined the gym to get in shape for the new year. So there was no way in hell I was going to go to the gym at 5 o'clock on a Friday night, the first week of January. So I'm going now. I normally don't go on a Saturday, but I'm going now. So it all worked out, which is fantastic. I also learned from my conversation with Fab that my worries about obtaining my divorce decree from the state of New York are probably unfounded. He said that as long as my passport has been and is currently in my name that it always has been, which is my maiden name, that there probably won't be a question when it is time for me to renegotiate my long-term residency status in France, which will be probably starting around this time next year. He explained that the only time that usually is an issue is that if there is documentation in 2 names, and I don't have anything that is documented in my married name from so long ago. So that was helpful to know that even if they can't track that down in the next year, which they should be able to, but even if they can't, that it probably won't be an issue. That's pretty much it for this video. Maybe a little bit rambling, sorry about that. Oh, and I also learned that one does not say bon matin in French, typically. You just say bonjour, or even more so, just jour. So I'm going to wish you all jour or bonsoir, depending on the time of day. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. Au revoir.